You're listening to Dramas Over Flowers. I'm Porma, and this is What's Up in Dramaland. Hello again, dear listeners. We took it easy for the first few months of this year as we struggled with life, thesis writing, and work, but we are back now. We hope that you're all comfortable, safe, and healthy. When Anisa and Saya recorded this episode at the end of February, the crisis was looming but still distant for most of us. So their discussion the first few minutes now acts as a time capsule of that cautious but easier time. 3 weeks later, we are playing a scary waiting game in our homes. But dramas can provide succor. March has a lot to offer, almost like the drama lords knew we needed good stories to take our minds off our fears. You've probably already started watching some of these, so let us know how right or far off we were with our reactions to their synopsis. You can email us at dramasoverflowers@gmail.com, comment in any of the apps that you're listening on, or tweet at us at dramasoverflow. You can also find Saya at notnowsaya, Anisa at AnisaKhalifa_, and me at FestaFaster. Finally, a big thank you to all our Patreon supporters. We've been lousy with uploads these last 3 months, but you've stayed solidly behind us. You guys are golden. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Alright, now on to dramas.
Hi everyone, this is Saya.
This is Anisa.
And this is What's Up in Dramaland for... what month is it? February?
Recording in February, publishing in March.
Yeah, I'm not doing this well right off the bat. But today is a magical day because it's the day that only appears once every 4 years, which is quite exciting. Unless it's your birthday,
Yes.
which means it's sad.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry to those who were born on February 29th.
Do you think we have any listeners who were? That would be really cool if we did.
If you are, happy birthday, and also let us know. So we don't have a lot of news this time, just because like the main news out of Korea right now is that the coronavirus has just exploded, and they're on high alert. I'm sure that by the time we publish, there's going to be more developments to the story, but as of this recording, which is February 29th, as we said, the total cases are almost at 3,000. There's a lot of... It's quite serious. Things are just... My Korean professor was saying that, like movie theaters have been shut down. Schools have been... they were on their kind of... their break, or their break was going to come up soon, but they just kind of delayed the return to the school. I think they were supposed to return in the beginning of March. They're not going to return in the beginning of March. So schools have been kind of indefinitely closed. They've closed all the museums and like a lot of public institutions. I think the National Assembly closed down for a few days and they like disinfected it inside. I'm not sure how effective that is, but anyway, like a lot of daycares are closed. Although I think they are making sure that there's still locations available for families in which both parents work. Companies are encouraging people to use their flex time if they need to like stay home if they're not feeling well or they have to take care of family members. So things are just really in flux. Our heart goes out to everybody in Korea and in China and like all the different places where I know things are really bad in Italy and in Iran right now as well. So yeah, that's just kind of a really sad and scary story, and I think wherever we are in the world we're kind of worried about that, so we hope that our listeners also stay safe and healthy wherever you are. Saya, do you have something to add to that?
Just the same thing. Be careful, take care. If you think you're sick, don't go to the doctor or go out. Contact them in the ways that you've been advised to. That's the advice that we're getting here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that sort of a bit more close to home, it's been affecting like the Umrah and Hajj visas have been suspended for Muslim
really?
pilgrims going to Makkah for the next 3 months. So that's the entire Ramadan and the entire Hajj season.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't heard that.
Also, remember I told you last week that I was going to the event with the author of Kim Ji-young, born 1982?
Yeah.
So that's been cancelled, and I
okay.
imagine, it doesn't take a lot of sleuthing to see what that's because of. They said unforeseen circumstances, but
Yeah, I mean, our American universities have a lot of them have just canceled a lot of their study abroad programs for the summer that were going to that part of Asia. So we have like Duke Engage Korea that usually goes, like students go there and work with like low income students and like refugees and stuff, and they are not doing that anymore, I don't think, or like it's on the verge of being canceled. All
yeah,
of our China programs have been canceled for the spring and maybe the summer. So, I mean, obviously these are less important in the face of people who are actually sick. So
yeah,
it's just kind of showing the how big the impact is like across the
yeah,
world instead, and not it's not really. I mean, there's an epicenter or like many epicenters, but it's just kind of it's spreading so quickly.
hmm
Um,
Also, the price of
yeah.
goods from China has gone up as well, like literally overnight.
Wow.
Which it honestly didn't occur to me until it happened. I was like, oh, of course, because China. And
Yeah.
it's strange to think how connected everything is when you don't think about that on a daily basis. But
Yeah. We obviously like this isn't a news podcast, but like we felt like we should really talk about this. So just to give like a little bit of the entertainment side, although like I don't know, it feels kind of unnecessary, but I just wanted to kind of mention that there are a bunch of movies, Korean movies that were set to film in the Middle East. Um, but like Koreans are now banned from entry from a lot of these countries, like Jordan and Morocco and stuff, because apparently Jordan became like a big foreign location to film after Misang
we're
came out.
saying, yeah.
Interestingly, yeah.
And Morocco
So
probably with Vagabond.
and Morocco is also just like the place that they always go. Like Hollywood always goes to Morocco to like to film. They filmed so many movies there. It's kind of become this like epicenter for filming movies that are like set in quote unquote the Middle East. So a lot of those films are just they're not able to go. A lot of famous like actors and TV personalities in Korea have donated like tons of money to like to buy masks for people to help them like hire more nurses and more staff because obviously like the hospitals are really understaffed, to pay for people's testing, stuff like that. So the other thing that I read was that a lot of the international film festivals have like shifted their schedules and delayed their schedules, and some of them might not even happen at all. So yeah, it's like very peripheral to the real issue, but I just wanted to bring that up.
And
So
would expect, I mean, given how things are looking right now, that it might eventually have an effect on drama shooting schedules as well.
yeah, I mean, I was actually that was one of the things that I was trying to see if I could find any information about last night when I was looking through articles. I didn't see anything,
Mm,
but I have a feeling that given another like 2 or 3 weeks, we're probably gonna
yeah,
see something. Yeah, I think the kind of unintended consequence right now is just that like more people are staying home, so like they're actually watching more TV and like ratings are higher.
that's so
So that's,
that's
I mean, it's like
that's
sad and funny at the same time.
right.
Yeah. So that's the only like real thing that I could kind of see. So yeah. So maybe the dramas are enjoying like a tiny bump in ratings, and that's like the only silver lining. But and then like a couple quick headlines. Train to Busan sequel, which is called Peninsula, just released its first posters. Looks pretty cool. Starring Kang Dong-won. We love him. And that's going to be coming out this summer.
Have you watched Train to Busan? Of course you have. You're a film person.
I have not actually because
Oh,
I
you
don't like
what?
zombies. No, I know.
Oh.
People keep telling me like it's a zombie movie, but like it's not that bad. But I'm just like, I know. And I'm also a Gongyu person, so I have no excuse. But
Right. Oh,
I will watch
because
it. I
I'm
will
not
watch
a
it.
zombie person, and that's why I haven't watched it.
Yeah, I just have a mental block when it comes to zombies. I'm not
Maybe it's
interested.
Forma who's watched it then.
She has. Yeah, she has.
Oh, okay. So we really should have like dragged her in for 5 minutes just to talk about this because even in her absence, I can hear her squeak.
Yeah. Well, we can as it comes up and as it comes out and stuff, we can get her opinion definitely. And the other thing that I wanted to briefly mention is that Parasite has topped $50 million in the box office in the US, which like it was already even before the Oscars. It had already made like $30 million or something, and it was already it had already broken all the records for a foreign film ever to screen in the US, but it continues to just do gangbusters for a foreign
for
film.
someone who doesn't understand what those numbers mean, like comparatively, like what is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a ton of money for like a blockbuster movie, but it is a lot of money for a foreign film, which generally don't make, more than even $10 million. Even making more than $10 million is a lot for a foreign film. Obviously, for big, for Marvel movies and stuff, they'll be making like, $1 billion worldwide. So those movies usually make, I mean, don't quote me, but like hundreds of millions of dollars domestically. But those movies are also on a hugely different scale, and they also spend a lot more money on their movies. This movie's budget was
for this?
It's 13.5 billion won, which is about $11 million.
Wow. Okay, this is good.
So, and I think they say usually a movie has to make back 2.5 times of its budget to be profitable. And of
Which
course, I'm sure it's made a lot of money worldwide. Yeah, it's done way more than that. So, but I think the more
Parasite.
significant aspect of it is just that, like, I don't know that I've ever
reach.
seen a foreign film have this much cultural impact. And that's one of the things that kind of the Best Picture award functions as, is like it just makes more people watch it that didn't know about it, because the reach of that kind of news is so wide. I mean, Donald Trump was talking about Parasite.
Because he watched it.
Basically, I don't think he watched it. He was just dissing the fact that a foreign movie won Best Picture, and like, this is the problem with America, and like, why are you choosing? Yeah, anyway, I'm not going off in that direction. A lot of people were like, Neon, the distribution company that distributed Parasite in the US, they quote tweeted his, like, the video of him saying that, and they were like, understandable, because he can't read.
If that was anyone else, I'd feel sorry, but like, it's him, so I don't feel sorry.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I'm going to hand it off to you now. We've switched roles this time. I did news and you did upcoming, so.
Which is why I know nothing. But, I did I did the upcoming last night, so of course, now that I've slept on it, I've forgotten everything. So this is as new to me as it is to anyone else. So it's a busy month in March. Got lots of premieres, like 10 new shows. What I didn't realize
13 or
when
14 actually.
Oh, actually, I didn't count the dailies, and there's a new variety show. I didn't put that in. Sorry, I was really sleepy. It was like 2 a.m.
Oh, okay,
so
no, that's
apologies
fine.
To our
that's what I
listeners.
usually do too. We don't count dailies and like super long weekenders.
So I just picked up the primetime dramas, and of the weekenders, I think there's no full weekenders on this list, but I may be surprised as I get down the list. But we're starting pretty quickly. So on the 2nd of March, we've got a Monday Tuesday drama called Nobody Knows, and that's 16 episodes on SBS, and that's a murdery mystery thrillery thing. So my wheelhouse. And that stars Kim So-hyung, Ryu Do-kwon, I always get his name wrong, Ryu Do-kwon, Park Hoon, and An Ji-ho. And you've got Kim So-hyung playing a detective who lost her friend 19 years ago to a serial killer, and she still carries the guilt and trauma over the death of her friend. And then 19 years later, this serial killer resumes his killing, or her killing, I suppose. Have we ever had female serial killers?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
Maybe that's one that we need.
If there are, it's like statistically insignificant. I mean, I'm talking about in real life. I don't know about in shows.
Oh, yeah. When I say we need, I mean we need in Dramaland, not in real life. We never need serial killers in real life, ever.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, like, this is starring Kim So-hyung is Kim Ji-young sensei from Sky Castle.
Yeah.
She was so iconically evil. She was one of the most amazing villains I've ever seen. Did you ever watch any of Sky Castle?
I didn't, but I looked it up last night when I was looking this up.
Yes. So, I mean, that character became like a cultural phenomenon. So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see her play like the hero after playing she had almost like this demonic aura around her. She was so good in that. in a really disturbing way. So
Do you get like that character hangover, between like when an actor has played a villain and then they go and play a good guy? Do you like feel
I
mistrustful
can't
of them in the
watch
beginning
the
or
two
anything?
dramas at the same time, but I don't necessarily like if the actor is good enough, I don't really mind. I feel like once the drama ends, I'm like, I'm good, I'm done, I'm ready to move on.
You probably won't be watching this.
I don't
Well-
know. I do like
Well,
the
you're not going to
actress,
be
but-
watching anything until after you've finished your thesis.
Oh,
right?
not. In March I'm not watching anything. But I
Yeah.
mean, maybe eventually I'll watch it if you tell me it's good.
Well, the screenwriter hasn't had any other work apart from a drama special back in 2015 that we know of. And the PD's last project was Falsify, which Barma has thoughts on, and they are not good thoughts.
Mm.
And the whole plot it's actually not the first serial killer drama to have a serial killer that resumes activities after a long hiatus.
Yeah.
So it does sound quite run of the mill in as far as a serial killer can. But I may yet check it out. I mean, it's murder and it's a mystery and it's thrillers, so sounds
Yeah,
like
it really
my
depends
kind
on the
of thing.
execution. So
Yeah,
yeah.
but I might wait it out a bit.
I'm laughing
Oh,
because
no.
I'm looking at what you wrote.
You're not doing the next one. I'm doing the next one.
Fine. We were gonna alternate, but Saya has hijacked this process because.
This one's mine. because,
Go ahead.
Because on March the 11th, my baby's come back. It's The Memorist, which is a Wednesday, Thursday drama on TVN, and that is 16 episodes, and it's a supernatural mystery thriller with... You can
Okay,
say
the
who's
reason
in
I
it.
laughed because I looked at who's starring and it says you know who, and I was like Voldemort.
You
no, it's not
spelled
Voldemort.
YOO.
Okay.
Yeah, so in
Yes.
case you don't know who, it's Yu Sung-il. I'm sure Anisa knew, but in case any of our listeners didn't know. So it's Yu Sung-il and Lee Se-young. And I just realised, as I was looking this up last night, that I completely had the wrong idea of who the female lead was, because I was thinking Park Se-young. And I think that's what everyone was getting excited about, but actually it's Lee Se-young, who I really like. She
No, I knew
played
it was
the
Lee
queen.
Se-young.
Oh, I didn't. I was not...
okay.
Look, was I paying attention to anything else?
No. Yeah.
She was the queen in The Crowned Clown, and I think she was the ghost in Hwayogi, and she was in a couple of other things recently that I didn't watch.
You know, you're asking me about like whether I get a character hangover. I don't get it in the sense that like I can't see them play something different, but if I see them in something that like made me really angry and upset, or if their character's development made me really angry and upset, sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time watching them in something else. And I feel a little bit like that with Lee Se-young because The Best Hit just made me so mad.
Oh yeah, that was what
It
she
made
was
me
in
so
after.
upset. Yeah.
Oh no.
And I mean, it's obviously not her fault, but I just, after that, I just haven't been able to watch anything with any of those actors.
I'm actually completely agree. Like that's exactly how I react to characters I hate. Like my Sonya Jin hangover was long, and then they just need a good project to make you stop hating them.
Yeah, I wouldn't say hate, but I just like have unpleasant feelings when I see her, and it's not her fault. I just don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's never the actual actress.
Yeah.
It's never the actual actor's fault. It's the character's fault,
exactly.
obviously. But they're the vessel of the feelings you feel. So
Yeah, you just need time to get over it sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Time and distance. So the plot of what's it called? Oh, Memorist. The plot of Memorist goes that Yu Sung-il plays a detective called Dongbek, and he has a supernatural ability to read people's memories when he touches them. And of course, whenever memories are involved, someone has to lose the memory, so he loses his memory as he stumbles upon a mysterious case of serial murders. And this is based on a webtoon, a very popular webtoon of the same name. But I'm a bit iffy on the plot because I feel like he's done this before. And also I wanted to see Yu Sung-il doing rom-com for the rest of his life, but I'll put that thought to the side. Because in Remember Sun's War, which is what he did before he did I'm Not a Robot, I think, he's this high-powered lawyer who has an extraordinary memory until he loses it. Like, he has early onset Alzheimer's or something.
Oh.
So
I
it's
thought
very,
that was
like,
a saga from the title.
No. Oh, That was Ruler Master of the Mask. It's
okay.
these titles with colons in them. Oh, actually, no, you're right. That is the one he did before I'm Not a Robot. This is the one he did before Ruler.
Okay.
Yeah, so in that show that happens. But also we just had He's Psychometric, which was also when the character touched someone, he would like get an understanding of them, not necessarily their memories, but like something. So I mean, I've written in the notes. It may be derivative, but do I care? And you get points if you get the right answer.
Plus, you have
above.
Plus, you have the currently airing drama with Tech, where he like can read the person's last moments when he sees them or when he touches them, or
that when he looks in their eyes. That feels a little different to me because it's like it's a very specific situation, and it's not as like its scope isn't as big. But at the same time, I really liked He's Psychometric in the beginning. I don't think it resolved the supernatural part of his abilities that well at the end. So
yeah, I feel like this is I know. I feel like this is also the kind of premise. Yeah, I mean, it's a given. We don't argue with givens. I feel like this is also the type of premise that like it's one of those things that can be done endlessly, and as long as it's done in an interesting way, you don't really mind like if the execution is done well, because it has the ability to like explore certain aspects of human nature that you can't normally, like the best of sci-fi does. And like there are certain things that are just going to be tropes, and if they're done well, like time travel or like body switching, like it can be terrible, or it can be kind of interesting and funny and like revealing about the characters and offer like development and an interesting character.
Yeah, and it would depend on like how well they establish the rules of his abilities, and whether like as long as they don't let it degenerate into a convenient sort of mechanism for moving the plot along like they did in His Psychometric. But also the slight difference in this is that usually like people with supernatural abilities are sort of undercover and their skills aren't recognized, whereas in this one he's actually like he's on the case officially as a supernatural expert. So that's an interesting spin on that as well. And plus I realized that I always like people better after they've played detectives. So it's about time he played a detective.
That's very interesting. So this has been a time diving into Saya's psyche. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, let's move on. I don't want to, but let's go.
Oh, I'm actually glad that you took Memorist because I wanted this one, so it works out. So the next one is Hospital Playlist. It's going to be on TVN and also Netflix. It's going to be 12 episodes. Oh, it's 12 episodes. I just realized that. That makes me even more excited for this. So, against my normal taste, this is actually a medical drama, but it's also very slice of life. So I guess that's exactly my taste. But this is by the same people who did the Reply series, and that's Shin Won-ho and Lee Woo-jung, PD Shin Won-ho, writer Lee Woo-jung, and it's kind of a sequel to Prison Playbook or like Smart Prison Living, depending on how you translate that. So it stars, get ready, Jo Jung-suk, Yoo Yeon-suk, Jung Kyung-ho, Kim Dae-myung, Jeon Mi-do. Like this is such a great cast.
Such a cast. Yeah, man.
Such a great cast.
I'm really excited about this. I actually don't have any interest in, like, after Answer Me 97, I was just not, that wasn't a show for me. And I know everyone loves it, and I know it's a controversial opinion, but I didn't like it. So I've never watched anything else from them since, but I'm excited about this one and I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I watched 97 and 94, and I loved them. I didn't really get into 88, even though I know that's everybody's favorite. And I also didn't have time to watch Prison Playbook, but I heard Prison Playbook was really, really good. So
yeah, I haven't had time for that one
kind
either.
of in the same vein. Yeah. So, I mean, it's basically just like these 5 doctors who all went to medical school at the same time, and now they're all friends and they work together at the same hospital. I mean, this would never happen in real life, but let's, like,
actually,
putting that aside.
It sort of can, because I have, like, there was a time in my life when all my friends were doctors, and it kind of, it did sort of happen, though not 10 years down the line, but at least in the beginning.
Interesting. Okay. I guess if you were friends before medical school, but you were friends in medical school. But in my experience, people get sent to like all over when they do their residency and stuff. So But anyway,
I
that's
guess.
beside the point. So they're just like, they've been friends for 20 years and now they're colleagues and they just like are hanging out. They form a band together. I mean, I'm already on board. Like, I hate medical dramas and I'm on board. So there's nothing else to say.
And a band means Jo Jung-suk will sing. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
People pay for that.
It's like if Yoo Seung-ho is in a drama, Saya will watch it. If Jo Jung-suk sings, I'm there. It's the same
We're
kind
all
of
there.
alchemy. Yeah. All right.
And also, like, there's been a second season for this confirmed already, and I read a couple of comments on the MDL page that said it's actually been commissioned for a 3-season show, so it could, you could be getting that whole thing in a 3-parter over 3 years, which is quite exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
And
in
if it's
theory,
planned
I'm
from the
against
start.
multiple seasons, but this premise is not really. It's not like a plot-centric type of premise, so I think it could work.
Yeah, and like just as you were saying, in the way that the whole genre of this show would really fit the multi-season format quite well.
Yeah, it's like a Misang or an Age of Youth or a Signal. Well, Signal's a little different because there is definitely a plot, but like it's that kind of ensemble workplace drama where like it's not really as much about the plot as it is
about the characters and
these
their development.
People living their lives together. Yeah, kind of like a Poem a Day as well, where like I wouldn't mind seeing those people again.
Yeah, I would
season,
watch the heck out of that. I'd watch that every day if it was on every day.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
Also, that being said, it's still a finite season count, so it's not like it's going on forever.
That's
even
true.
In a multi-season, it's got a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah, and that's good. That's what we want. All right, next one's yours.
Speaking of sequels, so Kingdom 2 will drop all at once on March 13th on Netflix. And I feel like it doesn't really need any introduction, but hey, let's do it. So it stars Joo Ji-hoon, Bae Doona, Ryu Seung-young, and Kim Hae-jun. It's a historical supernatural thriller with zombies, in case you didn't know. And in season 1, Joo Ji-hoon, who plays the Crown Prince of Joseon, he investigates this mysterious disease and uncovers a secret that threatens his kingdom. And so they pick this up in season 2, and neither of us have watched season 1 because zombies. Has Parma watched it?
I think she has.
Oh, we needed her for this one.
I know. She brings the zombies to this podcast.
Right? The enthusiasm for the undead. So season 2 picks up right where season 1 ends, and so the Crown Prince he's trying to save his people during the plague and returns to the palace to find the source of the disease and uncovers more secrets and more plots. And honestly, my first thought is, can the writer gang please write Signal 2 and forget zombies? But of course, this was like huge last year, so I have no doubt it's going to be like Kingdom 2 is going to be just as huge this year.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that they had originally planned to have a season 2 from the beginning, so...
Yeah, and it was confirmed really, really quickly. Like, before they'd even released season 1, the season 2 had been ordered. Although I'm not sure how much of that was down to, like, the whole budgeting problem, because they way overspent on what they were meant to do. Right? Because it was meant to be 8 episodes, and they had to cut it to 6. I'm not sure... Yeah, so Kingdom 2, also 6 episodes, so I imagine they did the same thing. And I find it quite amusing to recall that Song Joong-gi turned down this role that Joo Ji-hoon took. Before it was offered to Joo Ji-hoon, he turned it down. And now that we're in a post-Asadal world, I wonder if he regrets his choice.
Yeah,
this is petty of me, but...
Yeah, especially because we know that Song Joong-ki can do, like, the conflicted, tortured, but still sympathetic king so well, based on, like, Tree with Deep Roots.
He does this whole, like... dancing that line of charming and dangerous.
Right. He can do it really well.
Has he played a crown prince before? What was he in?
Yeah, he was the young king. He was young King Sejong in Tree with Deep Roots. He was really good in that. But I don't think you've seen that.
To watch that drama. No, not yet. But
you do need to watch it.
To
you would
see
love
it for like nearly, well, not quite 10, but nearly 10 years I've been trying to watch it. It will
It's
happen
amazing.
eventually.
It's so good. And it's like so language nerdy that you will love it.
Okay. Remind me that that's
While
the
making
next
that
saga I wanna
entertaining
watch.
somehow. Yeah.
Oh, I
Put
would
it on
find
your
that
list as the
entertaining
next saga.
even if it wasn't entertaining. Like, I'd find that
Right?
entertaining
And
as a documentary.
Exactly, so would I. But like also they made it entertaining to like regular people. So it's very good. And it's got Jang Hyuk and Song Joong Ki and Han Suk Kyu and Saguk. What's her name? Oh my god. Haeryeon.
Shin Se-kyung.
What's the yes.
Shin Se-kyung.
Shin Se-kyung. Yeah. So it's really good. It
Is
also
this where
has Signal's I always think of him as Brutus because that was his name in the first ever family drama I watched him in. I don't know why I can't think of his name. But you know, Lee Jae-han from Signal.
Lee Jae-han.
What's the actor's name?
I can't even remember the actor's name anymore because he's just Lee Jae-han to me now, even though I've seen him in other
That
projects
actor.
before that.
I mean, I
gosh,
love him
yeah.
so much that I feel bad that I can't remember his name right now. I know it, but anyway, he's
I feel
also
like-
in that.
Oh, yes, I can't remember his name right now. Anyway, I guess we'll have to leave it at that. And also, just, again, old news, but, you know, it's been a year, so just to remind everyone that this was based on a manhwa called Country of God. So, if you want your spoilers before you watch it, go read it. Is it translated? It must be by now.
I don't know, but I'm guessing it would be since it's so popular.
Mm.
Lee Jae-han's real name is Jo Jin-woong. I'm sorry for forgetting that. Yeah.
I
right.
knew there was an ung in there somewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway, we love
Next up.
him. Next
We
one
do.
is Rugal, which is the literal Korean title, right? Do you know
Yeah.
what that means?
I think it's the name of an organization in the show.
Okay. So this is an OCN/Netflix thriller, sci-fi action crime thriller. So it's 16 episodes. It's dropping on March 16th. It stars Jae Jin-hyuk, Park Sung-woong, and Jo Dong-hyuk. And this is the story of a police officer who attempts to bring down a nationwide criminal organization, but he ends up not only losing his wife, but also his eyes and the person he was. And then he gets like artificial eyes created by this organization called Rugal. And then he goes after the criminal organization. And it's also
I
based
like
on a
it.
webcomic.
It's
So
dark.
it sounds pretty badass. I
Actually
think
sounds
Jae
like
Jin-hyuk would be cool.
Yeah,
that role.
it's like his type of role. It's like this sort of dark, ambiguous, like with a certain amount of gravitas as well, because I think he does that really well. So he's playing to his strengths, and I love it. So I'm gonna watch this one. But it's interestingly different, because I don't think we've ever had like bionic eyes before. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with that. And the posters of the show are amazing. They're like really like the concept art and everything is like wow. So it makes you want to watch it just from that. I feel like it's a futile question to ask you. Do you think you're going to be watching it? Because of the time of year.
Probably not, but I have a whole summer ahead of me, so we'll see. That's what I said last summer. I didn't watch anything because I didn't have good internet where I was, so we'll see.
But you watched the things that mattered, like Guherian.
That was during school.
Oh, okay. I have no concept of what time of year it is. So the next one is, Memoirs of the Man or Find Me in Your Memory. It's got a couple of alternate titles. I think they're all slightly awkward translations that haven't settled on an official English title yet. And that drops on March 18th. It's 32 half-hour episodes, Wednesday, Thursday drama on MBC, starring Kim Dong-wook and Moon Ga-young. It's a romance melodrama, which is interesting. That was a completely pointless comment. Never mind that. So the story revolves around a man with hyperthymesia, which is a condition that gives him the ability to remember nearly every detail of his life, and a woman who's forgotten the most important moments of hers. And they fatefully cross paths one day and come to love each other because that's what you have to do when you're opposites.
Yeah, of course. There's no other choice.
They don't even have a choice. It's sad. Kim Dong-wook plays a news anchor, and he's in charge of like the #1 news station in Korea. And Moon Ga-young plays an actress who has been acting for like 6 years, but she has endless controversies over her acting ability. So what is she, a foot actress? That kind of thing?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, she's just a bad actress.
Yeah, I quite like Moon Ga-young actually, but I think she hasn't had good roles in anything I've seen her in recently. At least they start off well and then they end badly. I haven't seen Lee Jung-hun.
I
in
honestly
anything.
don't even know what I've seen her in. I just know that her face looks familiar to me. So
She was
don't
in,
really
that
have.
seducer, she was Balgang in Jealousy Incarnate.
Oh, that's where I know her from.
Yeah, and then she was in that
Isn't she a
Udahon
little
drama.
too young for Kim Dong-wook?
She is pretty young, and but also she's like 24 or something. Because I checked this last night because I was like, she's really young, and I don't know who. Like, I haven't watched Kim Dong-wook in anything. But he has this kind of baby face,
I
and she
haven't
has
really
quite
seen
a mature.
him in anything since Coffee Prince, honestly.
I think Labor Inspector Joe. He was in that very recently.
Okay, yeah, that's right. He was in that, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, so
he's been doing a lot of
know.
movies too.
Oh, that could be it. I think Moon Ga-young tends to. Actually, I'm not sure. She's done a few movies, but I'm not sure. But she does, like, I don't know, maybe because I've seen her play teenagers, she has that teenager vibe to me.
Kim Dong-wook was also the second lead in Radiant Office, which I watched the whole thing, but I just totally forgot about that. I guess he hasn't really done a lot of memorable stuff lately.
So both of them seem like they're quite sort of middle grade, like, talent-wise, sort of middle of the flock. But the interesting thing is that this is written by Kim Yoon-ju, who wrote Jewel, and she was also the co-writer with Song Jae-jung on Queen in Hyun's Man and 9. And after Queen in Hyun's Man and 9, that's when Song Jae-jung went solo, and her second half problems began. In like W and Memories of the Alhambra. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like we can put a decent amount of faith in the writer, and then maybe the rest, remains to be seen whether the cast can pull that off. But I mean,
they most likely have the acting talent if the story is good and it's done well.
But I'm not really like attracted by the plot or anything. It doesn't seem all that interesting to me.
No, me neither, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. The next one is 365, Repeat the Year, or A Year Against Fate. It's a time travel mystery crime thriller. It's premiering on March 23rd. It will have 24 35-minute episodes. It's on NBC. And it stars Lee Jun-hyuk, Nam Ji-hyun, and Yang Dong-gun. And I just want to say, Oppa, please be healthy in this and happy. Why is he doing another crime thriller? Do a rom-com so I can not cry when I watch you.
I think they don't like giving him rom-coms. Maybe it's because he's got that sort of weasel-faced charm that is so good for...
He's too good at being bad, but he's also really good at being good. I want to see him... I mean, he's not bad in this. He's actually the main character, but I just feel like it's going to be dark. But the story. So it's about 10 people who get the chance to go back 1 year in the past and change their destiny, but unexpectedly, mysterious situations start to arise and their fates are changed and twisted. So Lee Jun-hyuk plays an officer, like a police officer who used to be like traffic police, but he got promoted when he arrested a wanted criminal. And then Nam Ji-hyun plays a webtoon writer. I love that she's called Hidden Killer. Does that mean she just like kills off her characters all the time?
Is she gonna be our female serial killer?
Maybe, but still she just like kills her characters and not real people.
Is she self-dubbed
the best kind,
killer?
If you ask me.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting premise. I'm really curious to see how this is going to turn out because it's not like going back 15 years or going back to change like this one thing. It's just a year.
For an unknown
which might
reason.
be like slightly more mundane, but also maybe like more heartbreaking in some ways because the wounds are more recent. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that it's not entirely clear like exactly what kind of cases are going to come out of it. Like, how personal is it going to be, or is it like, if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. But like in the sense that I can't get a read on the tone of it just yet.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think it has potential. The premise has potential.
like whether it's going to delve more into like the implications of the effect that it has on your life from going back in a year, or whether it's going to be focused on solving a crime that we don't yet know about, or if it will divide its
I
time
guess,
well.
yeah, whether the time travel device and the mystery surrounding the time travel device starts to take more precedence than like the people's actual lives and how that changes their lives. I might not like that as much.
But then, given that
But it's based on a Japanese novel.
Right, source material, so it knows its ending before it started, we hope. So at least it might like proceed in a linear fashion towards its end, rather than sort of, oh, we've got 3 episodes to go, let's make it up now, or something. Because that's the problem that you have in a lot of time travel shows, is that they're not well thought out, or they are well thought out up to a point, and then it's like, and then they panic and like, let's throw everything in, include like whatever, just get this machine moving to the end. So hopefully, given that it's got a well established source material in an actual novel, it might not sort of go pear-shaped towards the end, I hope. But I will be watching this one as well.
Yeah.
But, so the PD's last project was Lucky Romance. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you watch that?
No, but I heard about how terrible it was.
Because I actually began watching it, and it was terrible pretty much from the beginning, which makes me, like, I have reservations about part of the show, but I'm interested in everything else.
For sure. Yeah. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, so the next one is called A Piece of Your Mind. The literal title is like Panepan, a half of a half, which I rather like better than this official title. That's coming on March the 23rd.
Yeah.
It's a 16-episoder on TVN, Monday, Tuesday drama. I like the look of the cast, though. So you've got Jung Hae-in and Chae Soo-bin, and I'm so glad Chae Soo-bin is coming back because I've missed her. You know, she wasn't on screen once last year. So sad. Lee Hana and Kim Sung-gyu round out that cast.
Even before that, what did she do?
So the last thing she did was West Stars Land, Fox Bride star.
I know. No, that doesn't exist. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She hasn't done anything in a long time.
So, like, do you remember?
We don't acknowledge the existence of that.
Do you remember that she'd got a lot of criticism where people were complaining that they were seeing her too much? She's a working actress.
Really?
Like, they don't, because they were just like,
What?
why is she in every drama?
That's so hypocritical. Nobody ever says that about male actors.
So true. Yeah, and so I guess that would explain why we haven't seen her for so long.
I feel like Park Min-young's been getting a little bit of that, and like I want to see her. I want to see her more. Like It's not a problem, except that like she probably needs to sleep. Yeah,
yeah. And because I really like Chae Soo-bin. I mean, I guess the good thing, the upside of that is she hopefully has been getting more sleep, CFs are more profitable for them than acting projects. So, I mean, it's not like they stop working. She just hasn't been doing shows because people are stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway. So it's a romance about an artificial intelligence programmer and a classical recording engineer. So Jung Hae-in is the programmer, and he's the founder of a brain.
Yes.
He's the founder of a portal site called MNH. And Chae Soo-bin is the classical recording engineer, and she's like an optimistic woman despite having an unstable lifestyle with no family or home, which sounds very Candy-like. But I guess they offset that with a little bit of sort of genius, because she solves maths problems to find comfort in difficult times. And it's told from the perspective of Jung Hae-in, I believe, a man who believes that even a small fraction of his significant other's heart is enough for him, which I guess is why it's called Half of a Half. And this is from the PD of Familiar Wife and Shopping King Louis and My Hollow Love, which was also AI, right? I thought this would be a draw for you because Familiar Wife.
Yeah, I loved Familiar Wife. And like the directing was gorgeous in Familiar Wife. I have less of a clear memory of Shopping King Louis, but I also feel like the directing was good.
Have you seen the posters for this?
I have not.
I think you'll like them. They're very sort of whimsical and almost ethereal. Like, it doesn't. I mean, I don't know why it's. I guess we haven't watched it yet, but it seems more like a straight up romance rather than a comedy.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
Also, the writer on the show, the screenwriter's last project was last year's film Tune In for Love, which Jung Hae-in was also the lead of with Kim Go-eun, and I think that film did pretty well. I haven't watched it yet, but it
Yeah.
sounded.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's-
But I feel like this one, out of everything that's been on the list, is your drama.
I think it's number 2 behind Hospital Playlist, surprisingly, actually.
Oh, behind Hospital Playlist, yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that one.
The next one is Welcome, or Osowa. By the way, we should definitely include the Hangul titles in our posts from now on. I like doing that. So good idea, Saya. This is
Okay,
dropping
we'll do it next time.
on March 25th. It's going to be 32 episodes. I'm assuming like the short ones, the short kind of episodes on KBS 2. And it stars L, Shin Ye-eun, and So Ji-hoon. And it's a fantasy romance comedy. L is a cat who has mastered the art of transformation into human form. He wants to become human for his owner. And in order to stay by her side, he starts
So
living
random.
a double life. So Shin Ye-eun is its owner. She's in her 20s, a graphic designer, and she wants to be a webcomic artist. She's very loving. She attracts many cat-like people. Okay, her father's like a Persian cat. Her crush is like a Siamese cat. This is getting a little weird for me. She brings Hongjo home, or L. She brings L home, thinking he's a cat, but ends up in a completely different situation. Okay. This is also based on a webtoon, if you couldn't tell from the premise.
You're like, were you high when you wrote this?
Yeah. So are we rooting for her to fall in love with a cat and like have a relationship? I don't know where this is going. I also think this is a missed opportunity to cast the actor who actually looks like a cat. What's his name? So Kang-hoon. He looks like a cat. He would have been perfect in this role.
I need to look this up.
You know the I'm Not a Robot guy? So Kang-joon.
Are you thinking of So Kang-joon? Are You Human Too? Which by the way, I was really entertained by last What's Up in Dramaland with you and Boroma. You guys called it Are You a Robot? What is it? Are You a Robot Too?
In my defense, I never watched that show. Although she did, so I don't know what her excuse is.
I just found it so funny. I felt like basically I became a listener for a day, and I was yelling at you guys every time you said it. I was like, "No, it's Are You Human
Sorry,
Too?"
listeners.
It was good though. I'm sure other listeners were also correcting you every time you
Yes.
said it.
Feel free to send us emails yelling at us for saying the wrong thing. We will correct ourselves in the next episode.
Also, we will try to sleep more beforehand.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about this, so I guess we'll just have to see how it turns out. Are you gonna watch this?
I really like Shin Yeon, and I really like So Ji-hoon, and Elle is actually all right. I mean, he's pretty good these days, and he's his dimples, and the storyline is really like bizarre. But I'm kind of morbidly curious to see where and how they will go with this. It's just, seriously, it's like someone was high when they wrote it.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like Absolute Boyfriend in
But
the
with
sense that like I
cats.
don't really see how this can end well. Right. And then like these types of dramas are always like very lighthearted, so like you know that the aim is to end well or like at least comedically, but it just doesn't. I don't see how that can happen. So
Well, I guess that surely he would just decide to be a human.
But he's a cat. How can a cat become a human?
No, he's not. He's a human who can turn into a cat. And like the question isn't can you fall in love with a cat? Everyone falls in love with cats.
No, he's a cat who has mastered the art of transformation into human form. I'm reading the summary.
So okay, so there are conflicting reports of this. So on one synopsis it says that he's a man who turns into a cat. On the other it says he's a cat who can turn into a man. I guess it's a mystery that we'll find out when it starts. Which one is actually the case?
So either he's not actually human and she won't be able to actually have a human relationship with him, or he's a dude who turned into a cat so he can enter this woman's home without telling her and invading her privacy. Like, I just don't.
Okay, now that sounds creepy.
It does, but it's going to be framed as this like funny, quirky, like kooky, goofy romantic comedy, and I'm just going to be like, Anyway, maybe I'm overthinking this.
Now you've said it, I can't unthink it. I was being innocent, and I'm sure the cat was too.
But if it's not a cat and it's a man, then there's nothing innocent about it.
You are right, and I hate you.
Sorry. Okay, we can move on to the next one. Please forgive me.
So finally, we are at the end of our list, almost, with just one more to go. And this one is called The Married Life, or World of the Married. It airs on March the 27th. It's 16 episodes. It's a Friday-Saturday drama, which is on JTBC and Netflix. Also, starring Kim Hye, Park Hae-jun, Han So-hee, and Park Sun-young, and this is a melodrama. So the synopsis goes that Kim Hye is a family medicine doctor who is married to Park Hae-jun, and they have a son. And she seems to have everything, like a successful career and a happy family, but she's betrayed by her husband and others. I get the idea that he cheats on her, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But, that sounds
that's how it
about
seems.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Park Hae-jun, he dreams of becoming a famous movie director and runs an entertainment business with the support of his wife. Even though he loves his wife, he falls into a dangerous relationship. Completely helplessly, of course.
Okay, it just falls into it. Just without no, like, agency on his part. Poor boy.
I know, right? So this is actually a remake of BBC TV show called Dr. Foster, which I don't know anything about because I don't watch English TV. So sorry, people.
Sorry, you're a bad English person. You should be able to tell us about this stuff.
I should be able to tell you about all things English.
Yes, why can't you do that? I'm very disappointed.
I fail at being English enough. I'm the kind of person you should toss into the English Channel. It comes from the PD of Misty, which I know you guys enjoyed last year, and it seems to have quite a similar tone and genre. Like, it's quite dark and, twisty.
Yeah, I mean, I never finished Misty, and I know people were kind of conflicted on the ending. I watched, I think, like 6 or 7 episodes. It was gorgeously directed. It was so well directed. I mean, yeah, it was very dark, but yeah, this does sound kind of similar, but it's like the kind of from the opposite. So in Misty, the woman is the main character, but she's also she's an anti-hero, and she's kind of the one that's doing all the terrible things, and her husband is pretty, like, he loves her, and he's but they're estranged because she keeps rejecting him. So, like, I wouldn't say she was the villain because you can really understand her motivations, but she's also, like, not a good person. And the infidelity is not on the husband's side in that scenario. But then it seems like this one is like the woman is the main character, but she's also the one who's kind of suspicious of her husband and investigating, like, whether he's cheating on her. So, like, it's kind of switched in that sense.
Do you think this is one you would watch?
Oh, no, definitely not.
That's very decisive.
The reason that I even watched Misty was because, like, A, I didn't know about the infidelity element. B, I love Kim Namju. I will watch her in anything. She had amazing pantsuits. Her husband was, what's his name? The square-jawed guy who was in Designated Survivor. Yeah, I mean, it was also just, like, the writing in that was, like, so good. It was so, like, deliciously written that once I watched one episode, like, I probably would have finished it if I hadn't gotten busy with school, but I just didn't have time. So, yeah. But this one, I don't really have that much of a attachment to the cast members. And I also I think it's probably going to be kind of a miserable experience because you're seeing it from the wife's point of view. I don't know.
And because JTBC kind of specializes in a certain type of misery.
Yeah. Like, honestly, these days I'm just watching, like, variety shows and the things that I have to watch for my thesis because I can't handle the stress of watching an actual drama.
I feel you. This is when I watch Seungjae clips from Return of Superman on YouTube endlessly because they are very healing.
Yeah. I've been watching this new show called, like, it's 7.7 billion people's love. It's basically like an abnormal summit, but they talk about dating and marriage. It's not a good program, but it's very entertaining.
It doesn't sound that bad.
I mean, it's really entertaining, but it's also like kind of problematic because like each person is representing their country in a really simplistic way. And they're like, so how do you do things in your country? Like this one white ex-Mormon from Utah is representing the entire United States. And he's like, yeah, American weddings are like this. And I'm like, okay.
No.
I mean, whatever. It's funny. I don't have to use my brain. I'm sorry. I went off on a whole like little tangent, but
It was a good tangent. I think it's a good one to close on as well. You don't have to use your brain all the time to watch dramas, or indeed not watch dramas, everyone.
yes.
But you have a lot of choice in March.
It's a very varied kind of offering. So you have your slice of life, you have your mystery thrillers, you have your medical drama, you have your romance.
You have your Yusinger.
No sagas, though. That's the only thing that's missing. Oh, no, we have Kingdom too. So we got all of them.
Which is, I think, a great note to finish on.
Yeah. Stay safe from zombies and also coronavirus. Take care of yourselves. Wash
And
your
also
hands.
seasonal illness.
Yes. And the flu, which is still raging around here, unfortunately.
I went and got my flu jab today. PSA. Go and get yours.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening.